So the calendar has turned to September, and there is a hint of fall in the air, and it's time to talk about some new releases and a re-release of a movie.
Ooh, a Halloween movie. Yeah, we've got the Boys of Home Moose with us with their favorite picks. Mick Pratt, Chris Brown, thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with what's on the table here.
Yeah, what's
on the table?
Blind Guardian.
Blind Guardian, possibly the world's greatest power metal band. Well, I mean, not possibly. It's empirically true.
Okay.
So this is a band from Germany from the late '80s who have been writing songs about elves and Gandalf and wizards and hobbits and just all that kind of stuff since forever. And their albums have been out of print in the United States since the mid-'90s. And Nuclear Blast was kind enough to reissue them this weekend. You got their first 4 albums. I mean, just incredible artwork, really cool, like gatefold on the inside. Just they're different colors, and yeah, if you ever wanted to know what elves with electric guitars would sound like, this is what it would sound like. Yeah,
we're getting a hint of it too, sound-wise. Yeah, I love that description though. This is what elves with electric guitars would sound like. That's a really
hanging out on the
interesting mix.
Yeah, sure.
Something many people have heard of now. Paul Simon.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. He's kind of remaking some B-side music.
Yeah, these are like deep cuts that he just didn't think he got right the first time and thinks he could do better. So, I mean, which is really important because this isn't like the sort of end of career, I just need to put some crap out into the marketplace. Like this is like he's like, yeah, you know, I could have, the words didn't really get the point across that he felt. He didn't think he wrote it well enough or wants to change the chords a bit. That's really what this is. And he's got, you know, like Bill Frisell is on it in some places, and he adds like nice atmospheric guitar. So it's a quiet album. Like it all fits together. Like it's an album that you could totally listen to, and
background music. A little bit?
If you wanted to, yeah. I mean, it's it's not going to distract you, but it's also like there's stuff going on there. Like you got a really good songwriter improving his songs.
Wow. And kind of fun to compare and contrast the old.
I did that a little bit the other day, where I would just like load up one on on Spotify and load up the other one and be like, oh yeah, okay, it is a little bit different. It's really cool. I don't know, when you have a career as long as his, and you can have the luxury to be like, yeah, I mean, all my songs are really good, but what if they were better?
That's a
good for him for thinking about that.
Right?
Too.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like 4 of them are from She's the One, which kind of didn't do well, people just didn't, so it actually makes sense.
Another chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're also,
and he might be done.
We're talking about Halloween already, which of course we're rushing every season, but you can't talk about Halloween without talking about Stephen King.
Absolutely.
Right. Sure.
So they are remastering Christine for 4K, which is really exciting. They they update the video, they update the audio, and there are a ton of Stephen King movies, and the list of Stephen King movies that are worth watching is somewhat smaller. This one really is. Like this is a really great adaptation of the original book, and it was cool that they're going to put it into like a high-def video format.
Yeah, it looks great, sounds great. They're using those. They mix it for Dolby Atmos, which is those speakers that fire up. So it just gives it a little more ambiance, and
so it's even scarier than it was. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. But you can also be like, whoa, look at the details.
Yeah.
Like as the car is being renovated, you can actually see like the dust coming off and stuff.
That's fascinating because I think so many people do that this time of year. They go back to those old scary movies, and so that'll be cool to see.
And it really does start around now.
Yeah.
Another release you guys have mentioned on your list is Clutch, the Book of Bad Decisions.
No, it's probably
a biography, actually.
I think we can all say that at some point in our lives. Yeah.
So they are a pretty straight-ahead rock band. Like if you think of the local band Mercy Lago, where it's it's that kind of thing. So their guitars are gritty, but they're not over in the metal category. And it's not exciting. It's hard to say because it's just pure. It's just rock and roll. 3 guys, hairy guys, guitar, bass, drums, just rocking out. And they've been around 20 years or so they know what they're doing. And it's just like American East Coast rock. It's just rock and roll. Blue Oyster Cult, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Totally.
Finally, R&B, St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
I'm going to cede this one to Chris, too, actually.
Okay, sure. All right, yeah. So this is their third album, and it's pretty interesting. Like, the guy here, Paul, he's not really a saint. He used to work in a bank, and then they just discovered he had this great, he had this great R&B voice, and their first two albums were more like a throwback soul kind of sound, but for this one, now they're on a major label, and they got Jack Splash, who's a really famous producer who's worked with people like Kendrick Lamar and Alicia Keys. So there's a more modern R&B sound to this album, but so people who are, I think it's going to broaden their audience, but people who used to like them probably still will, and now there's new people who, like people like Bruno Mars, but don't necessarily would never listen to like a James Brown album, would be into this.
Well, they're missing out if they're not doing that.
Lots of great suggestions, guys. Thanks so much for coming in. You can find the full list on the 207 section of our website, and we will be right back.